Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. As the season transition and the cozy weather approaches, I have the perfect recipe that I know you'll love. Today in Cooking with Tammy, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious corn, sausage, and potato chowder. Yes, I know your taste buds are going to fall in love with it. So without further ado, let's introduce these ingredients and get to cooking. First on up, as you can see, we have corn. Obviously tons of it, along with bell peppers, half and half, what I like to call mini potatoes, along with sausage, all-purpose flour, butter, chicken broth, finely chopped onions. We also have our Italian loaf, and we're also going to be using fresh thyme along with green onions and parsley. So without further ado, let's get to cooking. For this particular recipe, as you can see, your girl went ahead and pulled out the Dutch oven, all right? However, if you have a pretty good stock pot or soup pot, feel free to use that as well. Of course, while I've been talking, I've been working on getting the pan nice and hot. We're going to add some oil. And we are going to add our sausages. But first, feel free to substitute with any type of sausage, whether it be turkey ham, andouille sausages, or even bacon. By the way, just in case you're wondering, this is turkey kielbasa sausage. We're going to fry and brown them on up in a couple of minutes. Of course, we're going to flip them on over. And they should look just like this. At this point in time, we're going to remove them from the pan and place our sausages onto a plate. If you're not into all of that oil, of course, use a slotted spoon to drain the oil on off. And once we're finished, we're going to set it aside. To the same Dutch oven, because we don't want to lose any of those delicious flavors, we're going to add some butter. When it comes to using the butter, if you're going to be using a lot of salted products, use unsalted butter, and vice versa. If you're not using a lot of salted products, of course, indulge a little bit with maybe some salted butter. Once the butter is nice and melted, we're going to add our onions. Give it a quick toss. Stir it around really good. Allow the juices from the onions to be released in order to deglaze the bottom of the pot. Once we're done, we're going to go in with our bell peppers, both red and green. And there's no limitation when it comes to using any color or any array of bell peppers. If you want to incorporate maybe, let's say, some orange or yellow bell peppers with this recipe, you can definitely do so. We're going to stir everything on up, make sure it's well incorporated. I'm going to saute them. However, I'm not going to overcook them because I want our veggies to maintain and keep that beautiful color vibrancy that's going on. After about 3 minutes, this is perfect. We're going to add our all-purpose flour. And of course, guys, we're not going to be rocking out with self-rising flour, only all-purpose flour. We're going to stir it on up, cook that floury taste on out. All-purpose flour is going to act as a thickening agent. This part right here is only going to take about 2 to 3 minutes. 3 minutes later, we're going to introduce our stock to this pot. Now, when it comes down to the stock, we could play around a bit. If you don't want to use, let's say, regular sodium chicken stock, you can always opt for low sodium chicken stock or even veggie stock. And if you don't have any stock on hand, get yourself some bouillon powder or paste, dissolve it in water, and let's get to cooking, all right? I love to keep the bouillon powder on hand. It comes in so handy whenever I need to make recipes that consist of chicken stock. Let's get in there and give it a good stir. Once we're finished, we're going to cover it on down and allow it to come to a slow simmer. We're going to grab our small potatoes and we're going to add it to the mix as well. When it comes down to adding the potatoes, there's a couple options. You can opt for either white or even yellow potatoes, regular sized potatoes of course. Cut them up into quarters and basically make it work. I'm going to allow them to cook for about 15 minutes until they're tender. Let's check on our beautiful chowder and see what's going on. Check it on out. As you can see, we have a slow simmer. Our potatoes are perfectly cooked. At this point in time, we're going to add our corn. When it comes to the corn, it could be fresh or even frozen or canned corn. That could be used for this recipe. Going to stir it on in there really good. We're going to add our half and half. And no, the half and half should not be substituted for regular milk. I would even add a little heavy cream as well, you know, to give it that nice creamy decadent flavor. But half and half for this particular recipe is sufficient enough to get the job done. Stir it on in really, really well. Make sure everything is perfectly combined. we're going to add some fresh thyme. However, if you're going to be using dried thyme, definitely use a little bit less. Believe me when I tell you, the thyme is definitely going to jazz the flavors on up. Even though it's about 5 minutes later, it's really important when making chowder or any type of soup not to allow it to come to a rolling boil. So rocking out with low heat versus cooking it over high heat is the best way to go. Simply because the flavors would be concentrated due to the liquid evaporating too quickly. In the meanwhile, let's add our sausages back to the pot. Once you get it all in, let's stir it on up to make sure everything is well combined. Alright, let's bring this dish on home. We're coming down to the final spin. So we're going to add our green onions. Because I want to extract all of the flavors from the green onions, I'm going to cover it down for about 5 more minutes. It's about that time, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and remove my Italian round loaf from the plastic. Check it on out. And what we're going to do, first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the top. It's better to use a serrated bread knife. It gets the job done a lot easier. Get those hands out of the way. Turn it as you go. Make sure you secure yourself, of course. Once you get the top off, you just put it to the side. And it's important at this point in time to get everything out of the center. So we're just going to cut it around in a circle. Just like that. And we're going to create our very own bread bowl. Cut it around a little bit more. And of course, for this part, use your hands to get in there and remove any excess bread. It's time for us to show out with our delicious corn, sausage, and potato chowder, all right? As you can see, I went ahead and cut the bread on out because we're gonna serve this on up as a bread bowl. First thing we wanna do is ladle our delicious chowder into the bread just like that. This is gorgeous. Grab another piece of sausage for staging. We're gonna garnish it with our freshly chopped parsley. And that is it, guys. Our beautiful chowder is done and ready to be enjoyed. And another thing, if you're not really into incorporating this chowder with bread, no worries. Grab your favorite bowl, serve it on up, and get to enjoying as well. I went ahead and grabbed my bowl because guess what? It's taste test time. Let's see what we are working with. This is definitely drop your spoon delicious. I know we spoke about in the intro, cozy up season. This right here is a blanket. Let me close out this video before I eat this entire bowl on camera. Guys, definitely, of course, you know your girl Cooking with Tammy doesn't play when it comes to the ingredients and the recipes. Definitely give this recipe a try. It's quick and easy to put together, and of course, it's basic ingredients. And of course, let me know exactly what it is that you thought about this recipe because it's absolutely delicious. As always, I'm your girl Cooking with Tammy, and I would definitely catch you in another video. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.